For a while now, 5x5 has been one of the easiest events to get into because the hardware for the event has been consistently great. We thought we had seen the best of it in late 2016 when she released the Aochuang. That cube stood as the dominant 5x5 on the market until mid to late 2018 when Moyu fired back with the Aochuang GTSM, which was a cube that was distinctly different from the Aochuang, yet performed just as well if not better. We all thought that the smooth and bubbly feeling of the Aochuang could never be beaten, but then she released the Valk 5 in the summer of 2019, a seemingly optimized and better Aochuang that was picked up almost immediately by world-class solvers like Matt's Valk and Max Park. The only thing that stopped it from being the clear-cut best 5x5 was the $50 price tag. So then at the end of 2019, YJ made the MGC 5x5, a $22 cube that one could argue performs just as good as the Valk, if not better. Jump back to today, and we see the upcoming Aochuang WR M has joined the fray, and it competes well with cubes like the MGC and the Valk. Starting with some basics, the Valk and the MGC are the same size at around 62mm, but the MGC feels a little bigger since the pieces are a bit more rounded. The Aochuang WR M is a 61.5mm cube, and the half-millimeter difference is surprisingly notable when turning. It's also worth noting that the sticker shades on all three of these cubes are pretty different from one another. Most notably, the Aochuang WR M has much darker shades than the other two, so if that's a deal breaker for you, stay away from the Aochuang, I guess. On the price, the MGC goes for $22, the Aochuang WR M goes for $40, and the Valk goes for $50. Spoiler alert, if you only want the best budget-friendly cube, obviously go with the MGC, as it's more than definitely the best bang for your buck, and there isn't a noticeable drop in performance. That being said, the MGC probably has the worst performance of the three cubes, but not by much. The only gripe that I have with performance is that it pops much more than the other two cubes and is therefore less reliable. I probably wouldn't want to use this cube in competition personally because pops in competition are far from ideal. However, this issue can likely be mitigated by tightening the cube a lot more than you think you should, as long as you don't mind feeling rigid. When the cube is tight, the feeling doesn't change nearly at all. Speaking of the feeling, the MGC 5x5 feels very fast and smooth. Turns glide well on this cube, and it's a pleasure to turn. If you've ever tried the MGC 6x6, it feels similar to that, but much smoother. I personally enjoy solving on this cube a lot, and it's an absolute steal for $22. So yeah, if you're on a really tight budget, go with this cube for sure. Next up, we have the Valk. When this cube was released, it was immediately hailed as the biggest leap in hardware we had seen in a long time. This only turned out to be partially true because the performance wasn't mind-blowingly better than previous cubes. That being said, very soon after getting his hands on it, Max Park got the first ever official sub 45x5 average with it. Would I agree with the performance being incredibly good? Absolutely. This cube is super stable and rarely ever locks up, and I don't think it's ever popped on me. The Valk is 100% the most stable and reliable big cube I have ever used. The speed is moderately fast, and the cube responds well to different kinds of lube setups. This is important to note because without lube, the cube's moderately fast and relatively crispy feeling can be boring. In fact, the reason that I don't main this cube anymore is because the feeling isn't anything special. That being said, it very well could work out for some people, and the reliability of this cube is very nice. If you're willing to shell out the $50 to buy what is probably the most stable 5x5 out right now, then go for it. Lastly, we have the new cube that's been hyped up for a while now, the Aochuang WR M. This cube is slightly smaller than the other two, has slightly different stickerless shades, and seems to combine the best of the other two cubes. This is the fastest cube of the bunch, and the stability can rival that of the Valk. I wouldn't say it's as stable as the Valk, but it certainly could be argued that it is just as reliable. It has a smooth and fast feel on the outers and a stable and crunchy feel on the inners, and is very enjoyable to turn overall. This cube is my main, so my thoughts on it might be a little biased, but I would be willing to say that this is the best all-around 5x5 on the market. It costs $40, which I think is a reasonable price for such a fantastic cube. So in conclusion, there's really no way to go wrong when shopping for a new 5x5 right now. If you're on a tighter budget, then just go for the MGC. You'll still get a great bang for your buck. If you want the most purely stable and reliable 5x5, go for the Valk. If you want what I think is probably the best 5x5 to date, go ahead and try the Aochuang WR M. If you're unsure about spending the $40 on it, see if you can try it at a competition once they're back to see if you like it. If you're unhappy with your MGC or Valk, I would say go for the Aochuang and see what you think. So, I hope this video helped some of you. I hope you all enjoyed, and make sure if you buy any of these cubes that you buy them from the Cubicle and use code Edward17 for 5% off at checkout. Thanks.